So what I find interesting about these buildings is mud flood buildings, right? If they're not buried still, you'll see that they were at one point. Look at that. You can still see the line of where they had to dig these places out, okay? Which is why a lot of these buildings have these half windows, because they have not dug them out yet. But a lot of buildings got dug out. But this is old mud flood stuff, man. They never taught us about the mud flood. That should tell you something. They never taught us that these buildings were covered in mud. That means that they were covered in mud when they found the buildings. Because if they built them and there was a mud flood, we would have found out about it, believe me. It would have been a mainstream piece of information. But we've been lied to, folks. We've been lied to. You got to start to open your eyes and look around. You got to start to do the research. Okay, there are buildings in your community, in your town, that are older than we were told. Buildings that did not get built by people we were told they got built by. Architects that don't even exist. Why? Why are they lying? There's a deep, deep reason why they're lying. And I go over a lot of it on my YouTube page, in bigger pieces than on my Instagram, but it's a deep reason. But folks, this is what's going on, okay? It's all over. It's everywhere. Open your eyes. I'm sorry to say this, but if you think that for some reason we stopped building these structures because we thought that this was better looking, if you think that for 1 minute that anyone truly feels that way in their heart. I'm in Springfield, Massachusetts, and we are going to be taking a look at these buildings because it's always a crazy story that we get. And let me explain this. If you're new to the channel, if you're new to this type of information, I want to just go over something real quickly. Now, in all of these old buildings, what you'll see is when you dig into them, you'll see that the architects are always funny. They're either make-believe, like they have nothing about them, no written history. And we're talking late 1800s, and they lived, a lot of these people, throughout the mid 1900s. There should be something about them, right? Or they are heavily connected to the 13 families, and they have built just a ridiculous amount of things. So those are two things. Another thing you're going to find is that all of these places have stories of fires. All of them. So what they will say is that they built a city hall, it burnt down, and then in the early 1900s, they built another one. What I believe, and what many people believe is going on, is that there was never an original city hall. There was only this one that they didn't build. They found. Okay, so there's so much evidence of this, so much of it. Other people make content just like this. I mean, these people are better than me at it, you know? I'm new in content creation. I only started making content like 8 months ago, 7-8 months ago. So I never made videos. I never made content. I'm really more of a musician, but I never really did it. So I'm learning. So bear with me. But if you like this type of content, hit subscribe. We get lied to. It can be proven. I mean, so many lies. It's ridiculous. And I'm talking about buildings that they built. Basically, the people that took over this place, they said, all right, we're going to leave the beautiful Masonic structures, Freemasonry. They just took it. We're going to take all that stuff, and we're going to use the really crazy stuff, you know, Washington, D.C. buildings, all these crazy. But there are buildings just like the Capitol building in every state, all over the place. And their stories are crazy. So I think they seized those, right? And then they took all of the insane Masonic buildings, like the crazy buildings that you see that we don't make, you know, where the bricks are just all designed in different ways, and they're with limestone, and I mean, it's just so crazy, and the stories are ridiculous. And then the stories of fires, like these things burned down. How do you burn a limestone building down? How do you burn a limestone and a granite building down? We're going to dive in. I'm going to show you around Springfield, Massachusetts. This is their city hall building, and listen to the story. So this is Springfield's City Hall. This is the story, okay? Springfield's former City Hall burned down in 1905, allegedly, after a monkey overturned a kerosene lamp. The site remained vacant for a few years, as seen in this 1908 photo. This is actually funny. They give us this AI-generated photo of the statue, and there's a different background in each photo, and they tell you that because the background's different, this is proof that this city hall wasn't there. This is not proof at all. This is the most obvious AI-generated photo. But back to the story. Well, I'm glad with this situation there was no monkey business going on. Wait, what? You mean to tell me that seriously is the mainstream narrative, that a monkey overturned a kerosene lamp and burnt the original building that was built of stone to the ground? Always with a crazy story, always with the monkey business. So they built this new one supposedly in 1905 and dedicated it in 1914. How about this? This new one was there. The other one was also there. They just ripped it down. It was in a different location. That AI-generated photo doesn't prove anything. And it looks AI-generated. Give me a break. And this was always there. It's so obvious, too. There are so many mud flood buildings going on in Springfield. Get out to Springfield. Get out to your local cities and check this stuff out, please. Do the research on the architects and all of it. Hit subscribe. I love all of you guys. Share my content.